80 years on from the start of the Spanish Civil War conflict, and one story is about to be told again on stage. A besieged Madrid is the backdrop for the tale of a hard-drinking American posing as a correspondent and getting caught up in an affair with a young journalist.
No, please don't.
Listen, Bridges, open both your windows before you go to bed tonight. You don't want any broken glass if there's a shelling around midnight.
Don't go, darling, please don't.
Salud, camarade.
It was written in 1937 by Ernest Hemingway, who was in the Hotel Florida, in Madrid, which is where the play takes place in 1937. He was right in the middle of it. As he says, he wrote the play in installments between bombardments. And when he went out to the front line, which was sometimes only 1,500 yards away from the hotel, he would roll the manuscript up and stick it under his mattress and hope to find it still there when he got back.
I see that, Anita, you know, I change.
Hemingway was in unfamiliar territory when writing the fifth column, his only play. He'd put his reputation behind the Republican cause in its fight against the fascists. When it was published in 1938, it didn't get great reviews, and Hemingway was not happy when the first stage adaptation in New York was rewritten. As a result, it has rarely been performed since.
He wasn't a playwright, Hemingway. He was a novelist. And a certain amount of the work that he would normally put into a novel, creating the detail of a situation or a location or character, he leaves to us to put it on the stage. And he was quite explicit about that. He was quite pleased to save himself the work. When it was first done in 1940 in New York, the producers at the time were too frightened of that version of the script and hired a script doctor, as film people do, to tidy it up, change its direction in certain ways. Hemingway hated that, so we are going back to his text.
The fifth column starts with a run at the Southwark Playhouse in London. The cast have been fine-tuning their scenes and getting to grips with a story that, although feels like it's partly based on experience, is certainly a work of fiction. The role of Dorothy Bridges is thought to be based on journalist Martha Gellhorn, who went on to become a legendary war correspondent. She always refused to discuss her relationship with Hemingway.
It is true that Martha was in the Hotel Florida at the same time that Hemingway was. She sort of followed him there, having struck up a friendship with him, and then they got together as lovers during that time, even though Hemingway was married. But basically, other than her presence there and her physical attributes, i.e. her legs are mentioned quite often, and her blonde hair, there the similarities end, really.
He's quite action-man-y, all boozing, all with the ladies, and I think it's perhaps a romanticised idea of how he would like to have been perceived. His experiences are very, very different to Philip Rawlings, and it's a lot more fun, I think, would be fair to say.
Instantly was seized by the complaint. Perfectly all right, Mr. Philip, absolutely no. Do not concern yourself. Buen provecho, Mr. Philip, eat well, madam.
Stephen Ventura, who plays the hotel manager, has more than just a professional interest in the play. His grandfather was a Spanish Union activist in Barcelona who fled over the Pyrenees to escape Franco's victorious forces in 1939. He says that the play will particularly resonate with today's modern audience in its depiction of war.
Mr. Philip, from my heart is bottom, I thank you.
The thing we need to remember is that Europe being in major crisis, having lots of instability, having governments that can't make decisions, refugees spilling into mainland Europe from a civil war situation because of an oppressive government, all sounds a bit familiar. So it's pretty pertinent. And the world is changing, and Ernest Hemingway seems to be coming back into fashion for that reason, I think.
Good evening, darling.
Hello.
Are you cooking?
Hemingway's only play will be seen at a theatre for only the second time in its history, and this time audiences are getting the version Hemingway wanted us to see.